It's Leeds versus Arsenal. Can the might of Leeds shock Arsenal again with back-to-back defeats? Will Arsenal, while Mikel Arteta, hashtag Mikel Southgate, have 10 men behind the ball? Come and have your say right about now. Excellent panel on the show tonight. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Here we go. Good evening and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Of course, we've got, Kesh, Igal on regularly, the Gooners tonight, but we're joined by two stunning-looking gentlemen this evening. Probably Leeds fans. We've got Oscar and we've got Joe from All Leeds TV. Boys, welcome to the Football Terrace. How you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Thanks for having us, man. Love that intro. It's looking good, man.
I do like that, to be honest, mate.
Yeah. It's nice having new people on the show, to be fair, because we don't know what you're going to say. We don't know what your opinions are. It keeps it nice and fresh. Of course, Kesh and Igal, resident Gooners, and they're almost a complete opposite. Kesh, I would say, is more realistic, knows his football. Igal is hashtag, he's our version of Ty. Do you get what I'm saying? He's out there. He's the most positive Arsenal fan in the world. Obviously, the guy shits rainbows. It's absolutely the truth when it comes to him. Viewers, you know what you got to do. If you've got any questions for the panel this evening, get your super chats in as well. Member chats will read out at the same time as well. A lot of people, right? Remember, we'll do normal chats until the first super chat comes in. A lot of people here with Tapas Pulis. We're going to talk about that as well. But we'll start off with Leeds. We don't speak about Leeds a lot on this channel. Boys, how happy have you been with your starts to your life back in the Premier League after, what was it, sort of 15 or so years away?
16, man. 16 long years. Buzzing, to be fair. I think, look, there'll be a lot said about Leeds United because we've just come on the back of, two 4-1 losses. But most Leeds fans, if you'd have taken where we are now at the start of the season, they'd have snapped your hands off. But I think maybe because we've had 2 4-1 losses in consecutive games, it reads a little bit worse than it is. But let's say, for example, if we had the 4-1 at the start and then at the end, it wouldn't be so bad. So I think there's a little bit of negativity, undeservedly so, at this moment in time. But listen, I think we'll be fine. And I'm just buzzing to be back and playing Arsenal at the weekend. It's what you want to be back in the Premier League for, man. So yeah, excited, really excited.
I get that. And Oscar, I mean, your first game of the season, you went and took on Liverpool, and I felt you were unlucky. You mainly lost one of the penalties that was down to this new ridiculous handball that all of our teams have suffered with at some point so far this season. But you really took it to the champions. You pretty much, you put them on the back foot so far this season. You must be. A lot of people talk about the way Bielsa's got you playing, the flair, the attacking element. Is that just what you want to see, or would you rather maybe shut up shop a little bit and just try and sort of stay up the Burnley way?
I think it's, for us, it will always be, the way we played against Liverpool has just set the tone really for our whole season. I think no matter what happens to Leeds this season, whether it's a season of struggle, we're in the mid-table, we're doing a surprisingly really good season, I think we're just going to play the same way. I don't really want us to do anything other than that, to be honest. I think all it's about this season is showing what we're about as a football club. I think to an extent, what Leicester did all those years ago, what we saw Wolves do, a couple of seasons ago as well, just showing what we're about as a club at the minute. And I think that's what we're doing. The results aren't going to necessarily be consistent all the time. I think the last 2 games, Palace, Leicester, I think they found a way to beat us. But for me, Marcelo Bielsa over the last 2 weeks will have looked at that and thought, okay, maybe Arsenal might adopt the same approach, sit back a little bit, try and hit us on the counter. Leicester, etc., have had a bit of success with it. But for me, we've just got to play the same way. We've just got to continue to stick to our principles. Because at the end of the day, I know there's the appeal to occasionally sit back and that, like if you're 1-0 ahead, sit back. But we've got to where we've got to because of the way we play. Simple as that, really, for me.
No, I hear you on that, and that makes a lot of sense. It's good. I think there's getting that balance right, isn't there? I mean, last season, a lot of people praised Norwich at the beginning of the season for how they played. They opened up, and it led to their downfall in terms of being relegated in the end. But I do think Leeds have just a bit more quality about them. And as you say, maybe the last couple of results have kind of been a little bit unfair. Arsenal boys, I'll start with Kesh. I mean, first time playing Leeds back in the Premier League for a long, long time. We've seen how they attack and they open up. Yourselves, though, you humbling defeat to Aston Villa before the international break. What's going to be important in terms of getting a result in this game? Do you think Arteta's got to change anything to be able to beat Leeds, or is it a case of just play to the best of our ability and we'll get the victory? What's your head saying?
I think we've got to go brave. I feel when you're playing against a team come from the Championship, that's going to be very positive because of the manager that they got in control. I think you can't just sit there and be sitting ducks because it gives them the impetus to attack you. And we all know when Arsenal get attacked by the lower teams, we tend to concede, whether that's by a lapse of concentration or just sitting back where so many guys are behind. You can't go through a 90-minute game and just sit back because you just leave yourself sitting ducks. And then when we go forward now, we haven't got the ideas to score goals. So I feel the system has to be changed in order to give us any chance of winning this game. As you see with Leeds, they press for full 90 minutes, and Arsenal don't tend to do good when it comes against teams working harder than us.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you, Gal. Leeds do that. They absolutely work hard and they push and they hurry and they will throw players forward. And I don't want to, I know the title says it, Arsenal are pragmatic. I don't think anybody can deny that now. Yeah, you did that against Aston Villa. Are you concerned that if you sit back and have too many men behind the ball and only throw 2 or 3 players forward in counter-attacks, do you think you might struggle to be able to break Leeds? You might stop them, but do you think you'll struggle to break Leeds down?
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a level of pragmatic play when it comes to playing a team away from home, especially Leeds, because Leeds, they're a team that is forward-thinking. They're always attacking, and you know what? They always leave themselves available for that counter-attack. And just what we've seen against what they did against Crystal Palace, the last couple of games, even Leicester. So when it comes to these kind of teams, yes, we should be playing more forward-thinking. We should pin them into their own half. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised if Arteta went very pragmatic and just tried to beat them at their own game, because we did play them last year, and we've seen when we try to go toe for toe first half, we did not perform well. Second half of that FA Cup game, we performed better, and I think we did play a little bit more pragmatic that second half.
I hear that. Do you think there's been a lot of talk, and you've been one of these guys, Gal, that's about, trust the process, Arteta's changing things. If you lose to Leeds this weekend, that's 5 defeats in your opening 9 Premier League games. We know how Arsenal fans can switch. The banners can come out. Oh, I can't take it, Robbie. All this stuff will start happening. Right? What's going on, bro? Are you worried that another defeat to a perceived smaller team could start to unravel the good work that Mikel Arteta has been doing?
I think it's a big culture shock to what's going on at Arsenal right now, from the style of play to the amount of possession we're giving to these teams, in addition to the amount of times where we're just sitting back. Yes, it is concerning, and you should be looking into it. But at the same time, when you think about it, small margins where everything could still change. We could still beat we could still beat Leeds. We have a better team. The past performances, I get why we set up the way we set up against Man City and Liverpool. We should be playing more aggressively and more attacking wise. And I'm hoping that this international break gave Arteta the time to switch on. But to everyone who's saying Arteta out or making jokes or this, that about playing 10 man behind the ball, it is not the way he wants to play. When he first came in, what did he say, guys? He said, I want to play progressive football. I want to be on top of the team. I want to have more possession. Those things haven't happened lately, but hey, we did do that before lockdown when he first got the job, and hopefully we can get back to that.
Maybe. In terms of yourselves, Oscar and Joe, are you scared of Arsenal in the same way you would have been 15 years ago, or even close to that, the last time you guys were in the Premier League?
So, do you know, I just want to quickly jump in. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm like, people say, "Oh, would it be a shock?" No, I don't see that being the case. I think, if anything, I don't get where this is coming from. This talk of the it'd be a shock if a lesser team, as it were. I don't think that's the case. Bielsa's Leeds United are a different animal. It's easy to say that after the past couple of games, but believe me, there's nothing to fear. And your man's just mentioned there that FA Cup tie. In that FA Cup tie where we run, and Arsenal for very good 45 minutes anyway, was the second string side. I think the weekend, you know, we're going to be welcoming back Rodrigo. KP's probably going to be in there. We'll probably see Rafinha out on the right wing. I don't even know if I mean, there's been unrest at Arsenal. They've been fighting, I believe, you know. So I see us, no, I won't say comfortable. I mean, Arsenal are pretty shot shy at the moment. So, yes, I think Arteta would be right to go with a pragmatic approach. But whether or not they can do to us on the counter what the likes of Palace and Leicester did, I'm not so sure. Playing Aubameyang wide on the left, it doesn't really make sense to me. And I think we'll be all right, you know. I do. And the lads will know that the old performance. And like Oscar said, 2 weeks, Bielsa will have them fit, ready, raring to go. And I don't see it being a surprise. I don't see it being a shock when Leeds come away from Elland Road with 3 points on Sunday.
That is fighting talk there.
Yeah.
That smile. I think get the cash. The smile looks like I half believe him.
I do believe it. As I said in my previous streams, I do feel Leeds is a side that will come away and they'll create numerous chances. And for me, I'm looking at the season now. And this game is a law of average. Like, the more chances you create, the better chance you have of scoring. So I feel we need to go attack. I do feel if we go attack, we'll wipe the floor of them. I generally do.
You think you wipe that? I mean,
Wow.
do you know what's Matt? Listen, I don't want to. I'm trying to be neutral here. The only thing about that statement that I don't agree with is if you go attacking. And I know Arteta promised Willian that you're going to win the Champions League in 3 years. Right now, I'm not taking his word too seriously. If you go attacking, maybe. I just don't see you do. I can't see how you're just going to go from, and I know what you're saying, and it isn't a joke. The video footage is there. You were 1-0 down in the 72nd minute against Aston Villa, and they were attacking. You had every single player behind the ball. Now, at the point, the ball was about 10 yards in your half. But I'm looking at that thinking, has there been too much pragmatic football at Arsenal? Has Arteta almost taken that attacking impetus? Has he dulled them? Has he dulled the Arsenal to the point where you not forgot how to attack, but like you're a bit ring rusty with it?
I feel like it's very rigid. Like, the players, it's like they're told to take up set positions and don't stray away from that. We need to see a bit more freedom in the final third in order to unlock their defense. Which is why I say, if we do, remember, like, let's not forget, Aubameyang was only one off. Was it one off Vardy last season?
Yeah,
like,
one.
He's not all of a sudden become a player that is average. You put Aubameyang through the middle, you get a Saka there who can cause havoc if he's on his game, and that's how you unlock a defense. But when you play in a rigid system where the players can't stray away from their position and get some freedom and find a pocket of spaces, it then makes it easier for defenders to defend.
But mate, on that though, with Aubameyang, he's averaging at the moment in the Premier League 1.3 shots per game in 8 games. So he had just over 10 shots in 8 games because the attacking system isn't there, and he hasn't become a bad player. And one of them was a penalty. So it is there. Oscar, from your point of view, where are the weak links in this Arsenal team that Bielsa's your Leeds, are going to be able to exploit?
I look at this Arsenal team, and I think obviously Arteta initially, I thought, I still do. I still think he's doing decent stuff at Arsenal. I'm not quite sure if he's taking it to that next level right now. He's got to show, we can get a bit more creative freedom in that team. I don't think Ozil's necessarily the answer, but I don't look at this Arsenal team, and I think the last 2 games we've played, Palace and Leicester, we've faced Maddison, Zaha, who have really done the big damage in both games, and Eze to an extent as well. I think Maddison, the fact he can take people on. You can take a defender out the game, and then we're in a bit of trouble because we like to go man-to-man marking, and it's very much reliant on winning those 1v1 duels. And for me, I don't look at this Arsenal team, and I think his management of Pepe is very, very strange. And I just think, I think it's a big opportunity there for us to improve defensively. I just don't think this Arsenal team is going to test us that much defensively. Going forward, I look at this Arsenal team, and I think on the right-hand side, Bellerin, possibly David Luiz. I think Jack Harrison can really test Hector Bellerin, to be honest. I think Bellerin's okay, but against pace, I think he's a little bit on the what's the best word for it? It's a bit rash for me. We can dive in a little bit, and for me, that's a massive opportunity for Jack Harrison from that point of view. I think obviously Joe's mentioned Rodrigo. Rodrigo's a massive player for our team. Playing that 10 role just behind Bamford. I think if obviously we already know El Neni's out this game. I know Arsenal fans are very much 50-50 on El Neni. You know, some Arsenal fans think he's absolutely fantastic. Other Arsenal fans think he should have been sold like 4 years ago. But for me, I look at that and think, yeah, it's a big opportunity. That Partey might be missing in this game as well. I just think there's a massive opportunity for Rodrigo, Harrison, especially going forward. And defensively, you know, I think you mentioned as well about 15 years ago, this Arsenal team, you know, it was all about that individual creativity. You had Perez running at you. You had Ljungberg on the other side making runs. You had Dennis Bergkamp dropping just behind Henry. You had Henry coming off the left-hand side. You had Ashley Cole making runs from left back. I don't see this Arsenal team at this moment in time as having that kind of, it was just so smooth the way that Arsenal team played. I think this current Arsenal team is capable. You know, don't get me wrong. I think I looked at that first half, large periods of that game against Man United a couple of weeks ago. I thought Arsenal, they weren't necessarily playing outstanding football, but they were professional. Yeah, they got the game plan played out pretty well. I think against Liverpool in the Community Shield, a couple of games towards the end of last season, there's been signs there. You know, Arsenal can cause problems, but they've not scored that many goals. I think I saw a stat, you know, when me and Joe were filming the other day, that they've had the same amount of shots on goal as Burnley this season so far, and that is a sign of that's the problem. That's the problem that they're facing.
I shouldn't laugh, but I got to. Has Burnley? I didn't know that. I love a stat. That is mad. That's legitimately mad. Can you imagine? Igal. Yeah. How are Arsenal? What have you? With respect to this, are you fearful? You look at the players there. Costa. Actually, no Costa. He was on my old clients actually when he was at Wolverhampton Wanderers. My guy, Costa, Harrison. Good starts to the season. Bamford. Do you think there's going to be a plan for Bamford? Because he's come. Interestingly, when he's come back to the Premier League, I think there was a lot of pressure on him this time around. He's been here before, hasn't worked. Was he come from Chelsea? I want to say he was at Middlesbrough last time he was here. I don't want to.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. Yeah.
But he's at the Premier League this time, and I think he's looking really dangerous. Gal, what are Arsenal going to have to do to stop him from getting the chances and putting them away?
Honestly, it's the amount of service that he's been getting, and they've been finding him in good places. Like you see him every time he gets the ball, it's almost like he gets it right in that perfect area, right in the middle of the box. And also, you got to give him some credit, like those tight touches that he's taking inside the box just to cross it over that beautiful goal that he scored. I forget who he scored it against. Was it against Aston Villa? Yeah, where you guys won 3-0. And also, just to show you guys, this league, anyone can beat anybody. We just lost to Aston Villa. They beat Aston Villa 3-0. So mathematics would tell you, if they beat Aston Villa and we lost to Aston Villa, are you guys saying they're going to beat us? It doesn't work like that. At the end of the day, we can go and beat them. Anyone can beat anybody in the Premier League. It's a shock system. But hey, you got to give it up to their creativity. They've had Klitsch getting a lot of assists. They've had more assists than us. They've had more goals than us. And you know what? Bamford has scored one less goal than our whole team. So it just goes to show you, it's kind of embarrassing.
Boom.
It's why I brought him up. And I suppose from my point of view, if there's no Partey, I mean, I think he's had a bit of a 50-50 start in many ways. And I know Arsenal fans don't like hearing this. I thought he was okay against Leicester. I thought he was excellent in patches against Manchester United. I thought he was really poor in the first half against Aston Villa. But without him, you're a weaker side. There's no doubt. So that would be the fear for me, that he added a bit more steel to the central areas. If he isn't there, that is gonna be a problem. There's no doubt about it.
Good news though, he withdrew from the Ghana from the team during the international break, so that means he was getting rested up for to come back for us.
Yes, I mean that in itself is good news. Is there anyone you fear, Joe and Oscar? Is any part of this Arsenal team in terms of individuals that you think there's going to have to be a plan for, or is that not something? And excuse my ignorance, is that not something that Bielsa does? Does he not make plan for individual players? Is it you boys just go out there and express yourselves, or will there be a case of we've got to nullify Aubameyang, or we've got to stop, or we've got to stop Saka on the left? Will he do something like that?
I think exactly that, to be honest. I think the left-hand side will be what he looks at. I think looking at Arsenal so far, I think obviously I've already spoken about the right-hand side defensively. I think Willian, Bellerin, not really developed that kind of partnership yet. I think on the other side, Saka, Aubameyang, you can see something slowly starting to form. But I think the tough thing is, I'm not a clue how Arsenal are going to set up here. You have to remember, they've come into this game off the back of a 3-0 defeat at home. There probably is going to be quite a few changes. They might even change formation. They've been playing a back three. There's no reason why they might not just decide, Arteta might just decide to just go for it a bit more. But for me, I think he will look at that left-hand side. Definitely Aubameyang. He's the clear threat, in terms of getting goals. And I think obviously Luke Ayling will probably very much have a specific job just to follow Aubameyang all around the pitch, because I know he plays as a left winger, but really he drifts inside a lot. He's almost is like a second striker. He makes that kind of Henry kind of movement from the left-hand side, doesn't he, really? So it'll probably be a case of Ayling will follow him all the way around the pitch in that lot, and Saka will probably be tracked back by Helder Costa or Rafinha, as Joe was saying. That'll be probably the threat for me when I'm looking at this Arsenal team going forward. Obviously, Tierney gets involved as well. He kind of makes late runs. So, yeah, I think it's the left-hand side. I don't really look at anything in the middle. There's not really a number 10 as such there. I think Ceballos, he probably won't even play, after what's happening in the training ground and that lot. There's not really anything there that's really making me worry too much in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where Arsenal's creativity comes from.
Do you know what as well? Like, watch out for Luke Ayling, obviously coming through the Arsenal ranks. He's going to have a point to prove. Left Arsenal, went down to Yeovil, made his way back up. I think on Sunday Luke Ayling's going to have a barnstormer. He does most games anyway, but I think there's going to be that little bit extra to say, do you know what? I think he made it on the bench. He jokes around saying he's played Champions League football because he was on the bench for one game at Arsenal. But yeah, watch Luke Ayling. I think he'll not pocket Aubameyang, but he's going to have a barnstorm. He did against Mane, and I know that might sound crazy, me saying pocket him, but he did a great performance against Mane, and I think he'll do the same against Aubameyang, if I'm honest.
We'd all love to see that, because when we do the match reaction show after Leeds versus United, Leeds versus Arsenal, it's going to be amazing. And by the way, I'm not getting too big for my boots because we've got to play you guys not too soon. And you know what? As a United fan, I lived in Manchester for a long period of my life, and I spent a lot of time between Leeds and Manchester, like fighting and kickboxing. A good friend of mine lives in Leeds, and the rivalry's strong. And living there, yeah, that's a game that I'm looking forward to, but equally scared because you guys are playing good football. We have a super chat here from Sean, who says the results are all over the place this season. The lack of fans is having a mental impact on teams. If Ellen Road would fall, Leeds would win, but I mean, Ellen Road's a scary place to go. I went there with my brother when you guys played Leyton Orient, because when you guys were down there, my brother's a Leyton Orient fan, and it was one of the first times he'd been to with his team to what I would call like a Premier League club. And he's only young. He was so into it. He was like 16. He was literally scared. Like I saw his face. He was like, oh, they're really scary. I said, it's fine. They're not going to do anything. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know. I mean, that's the one thing I'd say about this season. The results are so all over the place. I just don't think you can put your money down anymore and say it's a banker that Arsenal win or a banker that Leeds win. I think it's so up in the air, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, man. Of course, it could go either way. I've said all season, and I say this on our channel, there will be games where we take spankings, and we've seen that in the last two games, just due to the way we play football. But there'll also be games where we take scalps, I think if, just on the fan point, if the fans are in the stadium against Man City, I think we win that game. I know people might say, what? I don't really think, but I think that ball gets dragged into the net with the noise, and maybe some of the players will under the pressure, some of the City players. That's just my opinion. But yeah, it could go either way for Leeds United. I'm always going to talk them up, but we will get scalps. But like we've seen against, Palace of all teams, if I'm being honest, without being disrespectful, we got spanked really 4-1. So it can happen, and it could happen on the weekend.
Yeah. Go on, mate.
Look, out of all due respect to Leeds and everybody else, we know that our team should be winning this game. We should be the favorites, even though you guys are at home. And the styles of play, you guys are almost playing like how an Arsenal team should play, and we're playing almost like how a smaller team should play. So I think with the way you guys play and the defensive and how pragmatic Arteta has been, if we go into this game pragmatic, I honestly would not be surprised if we somehow just beat you guys on the break, because with Bielsa's system, the 4-1-4-1, it's kind of like once you get past that midfield, you can just run at those defenders, and it's going to be one-on-ones on individual players.
I think you are going to play pragmatically, but this is the thing with pragmatic football. Whether or not you're playing to win, you can play pragmatically and play to win. Sir Alex Ferguson used to go away from home in the Premier League against big teams and be pragmatic, but go to win. When I've seen the last few games by Arsenal, you've sat back and defended deep, but your attacks have been 1 or 2 people. And it's like, you're not really trying to score. It's like you're just trying to relieve pressure.
No intention.
Yeah, exactly. I think what you've got to do against Leeds is when you attack, it's got to be Saka, Aubameyang, Lacazette. I don't know whether it be Willian or Pepe. You need 4 minimum in your counter attack, if not 5 or 6. If you're not doing that, it tells me you're looking to draw. We had a super chat there from Brandon who just says that this is where we'll find out about Arteta as a manager. Leeds are a good side going forward, but leave themselves exposed at the back at times, which I think most Leeds fans would agree with. And this is where we can expose them if Arteta plays to our strengths.
What I would say though is I do feel we'll go out a lot more positive. Like in terms of the certain lineup, like when you got El Neni, he's gonna be out. We ain't sure if Willian at the moment is looking like he might be out as well. So then you're gonna see the likes of Pepe who's gonna step in. You probably see a midfield partnership of a 3 in midfield if he changes it, or it's gonna be a Xhaka and Partey.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. There's a comment here that says, I actually think whoever scores first might end up losing. Arsenal will park it if they score first. And the Brighton thing will happen again. If Leeds score, AFTV will have to press. I mean, AFC will press. Yeah, I think all those things could come true. Viewers, do us a quick favor and hit that like and share button. Also, get your questions in now. Super chats and member questions we'll put across to the panel. Boys, I want to do some score predictions before we go into some of the questions. I'll go to yourself first, Joe. What's the score going to be?
2-0. 2-0 Leeds United. Yeah, 2-0. Patrick Bamford, both goals, I think.
That'd be nice. Ex-Chelsea agent as well. I love that. And Chelsea agent there. Gal, what's your score prediction, mate?
Oh man, come on, man, guys! Put respect on Arsenal, man. This is Leeds. This is not Barcelona, guys. Yes, it's Bielsa, and he was touted for the Barcelona job and Argentina manager. But hey, I'm going for a 2-1 victory. Let's do this.
Oscar, what you saying, mate?
I'm going to say 1-1. I think maybe 2-1 Leeds. I think 1-1 though. I just think the way we're playing in general is good. I think Arsenal will surely go for it a bit more than what they have done the last couple of games. I think when you've just lost 3-0 to Villa, you can't do anything other than go for it a bit more. Like you were saying, they're committing like 2-3 players at the most to every attack. I mean. But yeah, I think Aubameyang's a threat still. Lacazette, you'd imagine one of them might turn up. But I'd take any. If we can just get something from this game, just to not stop the rot so much, but just get something. After we've lost the last 2 games 4-1, if we win it, absolutely fantastic. But just as long as we get something, I'll be buzzing, to be honest.
I hear what you're saying there, mate. Kesh.
3-2 Arsenal.
Ooh, high scoring. It could be a high scoring game, especially if, as you say, if Arsenal open up and kind of express themselves. Viewers, we'd love to know what you think in relation to that. My prediction, I'm going with. Actually, it's not a prediction. This is what I hope happens. I'm hoping 3-1 Leeds. I'm hoping 3-1 Leeds because I really want to see Arsenal lose. I'm so desperate to see Arsenal lose again. Especially Ghost Rider, if you're watching, I told you you're behind United. You're not as good as Man United. You keep telling us you are. We're better than you. I just want you to have 9 games and 5 defeats. It'd be amazing. It'd just be amazing. 5 defeats after 9 games would just be epic. Makes me feel a little bit better about my pathetic club at the moment. If I'm being absolutely honest, my head says 1-1. I actually think it'll be a draw, but I hope that Arsenal lose, and that's purely for banter reasons altogether. Arsenal don't play to win; they play not to lose, is what Twisted Bubba says. Gooners, what's your thoughts on that?
We used to get criticized for being too open. Now we get criticized for being too defensive. At the end of the day, we went out to bigger teams like Man City and Liverpool, and we weren't getting beat the way we used to get beat. So I'm saying we're more competitive now than we were the past 4 seasons before Arteta.
I don't know. I just got these weird images going through. You're like, we're getting beat, but I'm just happy that I'm not getting my nose broke anymore. Just a fat lip. I'm all right.
No, but let's be fair.
I love you, man. Your optimism.
Can I say something now?
Go on, mate. Go on.
I wanted to ask the Leeds fans: Do you feel like you don't understand where all this confidence is coming from rivals? Because I'm kind of confused. How do they expect you guys coming up from the championship to beat all these other teams? Like, you guys been getting all these touted. Do you think it's well deserved, or have you seen it coming that you're going to just come into the Premier League and hit the ground running like the way you guys have been?
Yeah. Do you know what, right? And our style of play is better suited to the Premier League than it was in the Championship. And the reason being is because in the Championship, week in, week out, there was 11 men behind the ball, and it was tough. And I mean tough to break teams down. In the Premiership, teams going to have to come and go, you know. This is the thing, you know, it's not acceptable for an Arsenal among the fan base, although he might go that way. It's not acceptable for a Chelsea. It's not acceptable for these teams to sit in and put 11 men behind the ball. Do you know what I mean? So they're going to have to come and have a go. Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, from the fan base, though, from the fan base, obviously not acceptable. So we're better suited to it, and you know, I'm not surprised. I knew we would take some scalps, and we will continue to do so. But like I've said, man, we'll be on the end of hidings as well. We've just got to accept that fact, you know. And I'm at peace with that, because we'll stay up. We'll be all right, man, and then kick on. 3 seasons, man. We'll be knocking on the door. We will be in Europe.
Oh wow, that's confidence.
I have seen a lot of Leeds fans. You do all seem to have that kind of collective confidence that you're on your way back to the big time.
I believe it, to be fair. I believe it.
Yeah, but I don't see why not. You know, the thing is, you've got a manager there who's got Bilbao into the Europa League final. That Bilbao, this is that they were talking about. You got, Bilbao competing against probably the best club side I've ever seen in Barcelona under Pep, all those years ago as well. He's done it before at this level. Marseille, he almost, I know the big thing with Bielsa is there's a lot to talk about. He almost achieves things, but the fact of the matter is, eventually, he's going to get to the top. For me, it's a matter of time for me, with Bielsa. But I think the biggest thing for us, more than even finishing top 7 or whatever in the next 3 years, is just keeping Bielsa for that length of time. That's a tough ask in itself, because obviously it's already 2 years he's been there. But if we get another two years and solid foundation built, someone else can come in and go from there. And then I'm confident we're going to definitely push on and do a Wolves or Leicester in a couple of years' time. Maybe even sooner than what Joe's saying, and maybe even next year. Who knows? Just depends on what happens this year.
That was going to be my next question, though. Like, hypothetically, like, if Leeds was to beat Arsenal this week, and Arsenal went on a terrible run of form, do you not fear that your manager will be in the running for the Arsenal job?
No, and I tell you, reason why, this is what I mean. Even Man United fans were saying it. Bielsa doesn't. He picks the club. This is the thing with Bielsa. He's all ethos. He looks at the club, the city, everything about it, and makes an informed decision based on that. And he's looked at Leeds United. I mean, let's be honest. He's had job offers all over Europe, and he's come to the Championship. That tells you enough in itself to say, actually, why would he drop down to such a low division? Because he's seen the project and the management structure around them. They give him what he wants. We've seen it when he was at Lazio. He put a list of players. He didn't get them. He walked. They know they can't. He wouldn't accept, say, what's going on at a Man United or what goes on at an Arsenal. Genuinely, he just wouldn't accept it, because it's hard for people to comprehend. Because I see it on social media and they're like, "What are you talking about?"
No, I get it.
A massive club. Man United's a massive club, but I understand.
And you put on a really interesting. I've been talking about this for a long time now about Ollie at Man United, and a lot of people don't. I'll always respect him as a Man United fan. I'm born in 1985. Ollie is part of my childhood as a football fan. And they're like, oh, he doesn't respect the club. He should walk if the owners are so bad. And do you know what it is? I think people like Ollie know the club's run awfully. And I'd rather have someone like Ollie running my football club than someone that doesn't care about it. But equally, it might take someone with that character of Bielsa to come in and walk away after 3 months and say the club's in absolute turmoil. Like, walk away from the money and everything and just say, rather than trying to get their severance package and say that club is in absolute grief. And maybe that's what Ollie needs to do if he really isn't happy. But yeah, I think Leeds is being run a lot. I mean, you went through that period, didn't you? Where you went through, I'm gonna be very hyperbolic with the number. It felt like you went through about 300 managers in 4 years. I wasn't keeping a close eye on Leeds, but it was like every 3 months, it was like you're sacking another manager. And it does feel like you've kind of fallen upon something now where you are moving in the right direction. And a really interesting comment here from Lads to Leeds. He says, I'm really seeing lots of scummers. That means Man United fans. Anyone who's wondering, Icon saying Leeds will win. 2020 people are nuts. Let's go with this Leeds love United fans. Do you know what this is? This is a combination of, YouTube viewers are generally a little bit younger. They don't know about the rivalry.
Yeah.
When I see Leeds, like on a football sense, I hate you. I really hate you because it was pumped into me that Man United Leeds is a big thing. I said I lived up in Manchester for a long time, and that's what it was. But the younger generation that we were talking earlier, younger fans wear other clubs' football kits. I've seen English people that support foreign teams. What are you? Is that where your dad's from? No, I just like how they play football. The world's gone mad. It's tribalism's dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's yeah. So you're gonna get some love. Plus, I think the rivalry's bigger now. Most young United fans, it's like Chelsea and Arsenal and Tottenham, far more than they do Leeds. But there we go. Igao is disrespecting Leeds, is what you said there. I don't think you were. I'll back you up.
I said we should beat them. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, any top 6 team faces a team that just got promoted. It doesn't matter who it is. You should beat them.
Well, you've got.
No, I get that.
If you look at your team, Lacazette 50 mil, Aubameyang over 50 mil, Pepe 72 mil, Partey 40 odd mil. When you start looking at how much as Xhaka 30 odd mil, when you start looking at the money you've laid out on your players, you should be able to compete with them. You know what I mean? And I'm sure if Leeds fans were being honest, they'd love some of the talent in your team in their side with their manager coaching them. So I get where you're coming from. I don't think that's disrespectful at all. But there we go. There we have it. We got the predictions in. We all hope oil money runs your football club forever, Terry. Well, I don't know what club you think I support. I'm a Man United fan. It's more Glazers own shopping malls. I think that's where the Glazers' money primarily comes from. I don't know if it's oil. I'm not too sure. It could be. They probably own some stocks, maybe. There we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in this evening, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Boys, let them know where your channel is.
Yeah, All Leeds TV. Make sure you come on over. We do watch-alongs for the games as well. So if you're about Sunday, come in, and have a laugh. If you're beating us, I don't think you will, but there you go. And we do a pre- and post-match as well. So make sure you come over and check it out, man. Thanks for having us on as well.
Not a problem at all. Absolute pleasure. Kish, Igao, we'll see you again at some point in the next few days, I'm sure. Tomorrow, people, I'll have some more clickbait news for you in the morning, making some nonsense up to draw you all in. In the afternoon, I don't know yet. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. But in the evening, we have Maya. Maya's doing her Box to Box Babe show, first of all. Big up Maya. She's just been signed up by TalkSport. One of our presenters is now working for TalkSport, which is great for her. But her show's on in the evening. And then at 9 o'clock, we've got I don't know how many, but we've got Spurs fans on, and we've managed to find a City fan. They do exist. Coming to preview Tottenham versus Man City. So get you. So what a weekend of football we've got. I'm so excited. I just want it to be Friday already. So many good games this weekend, potential banana skins and all sorts. But everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.